I'll assume you can follow the tab or the standard notation from the beginning of this video well enough that you can learn the notes on your own. So rather than going note by note, we're going to go phrase by phrase, talk about fingerings, chord shapes, and guitar technique. If you do need some help reading tab, I've got a video on that topic. I'll leave a link in the description. Also in the description, you'll find a link for ordering a PDF of this arrangement. We start off with straight eighth note A's in the melody. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, while your bass has quarter note low A's. 1, 2, 1, 2. So you may want to practice that first measure by itself just for the coordination. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now in measure 2, we have a low A as a half note, so we're just holding that while we play the melody over the top. And I recommend holding down that A from the beginning of the measure all the way through the measure. First of all, it adds a little bit of extra harmony while it rings. And second of all, you need to get back to that note at the end of the measure anyway. So measures 1 and 2, eighth notes. And now hold your second finger down here. In measure 3, we have straight eighth note G sharps in the melody and low E quarter notes, 1, 2 in the bass. And then in measure 4, we have a G sharp with first finger in the melody while you're holding down a low E half note throughout. And I recommend, just as you did in measure 2, I recommend holding this G sharp with your first finger down throughout that measure. For the same reasons. It adds a little bit of extra harmony, plus you have to get back to that note anyway at the end of the measure. So here's measures 3 and 4. Hold finger 1. Measures 5 and 6 are the exact same as measures 1 and 2. So we have eighth note A's and quarter note low A's. And then hold this A with your second finger down. Measure 7, we have a low E, 2 low E's as a matter of fact. 1, 2. Over the top of that we have a G sharp, an E, back to G sharp. And as we've done in measure 2 and also in measure 4, I recommend holding down that G sharp with your first finger throughout the entire measure. And then in measure 8, we have quarter note in both the bass and the melody, A, A. And we have accent marks along with those quarter notes. An accent just means to play those notes a little louder than the surrounding notes. So a little louder here. In measures 9 through 12, we're playing fuller chords. So you want to pay attention to the chords above the music. That's going to help you find good fingerings. In measure 9, we have repeated eighth note C's in the melody, 1 and 2 and, while we play C chord, C, E, G, as quarter notes, 1, 2. So altogether that comes to. So if you need to, practice that a few times just for the coordination. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Measure 10, hold the C chord, the C, E, G underneath while you're playing the melody on top. And that also means keeping your first finger down on the C on the second string at the beginning of that measure. Play this D right here with your fourth finger. So here's measures 9 and 10. Hold the C chord. Measure 11, we have a partial G chord with the melody on string 2. And then in measure 12, we have an E7 chord. You only need your first finger, at least at first, on that G sharp on the 3rd string. So hold the lower part of that chord, that part, while you're playing the melody. Use your 4th finger for the D, and use your 2nd finger for that C. Normally you're going to use 1st finger on that C, but in this case, use 2nd finger on that C so you can continue holding down the G sharp. 2nd finger on the C. Let me back it up 1 measure to measure 11. We have our G chord. Then E7, holding down the 1st finger. And measure 13 through the end, it's the exact same as measures 5 through 8. We have repeated 8th note A's, while we have quarter note low A's in the bass. Hold down your 2nd finger here. Hold down your 1st finger here. And then accent. And that was Little Minka, originally for solo piano and now for solo guitar. Have fun with this, and don't forget to check the description to see where you can order the PDF. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more guitar tips and arrangements.